Today I'm here to talk to you about Instagram, which is a social media platform that a lot of us use and most of us have definitely heard of. Instagram is owned by Facebook, and both of these social medias are platforms that users are encouraged to post pictures and videos to express themselves. Instagram is moderated by a team of staff as well as a computer algorithm. Now, the way this computer algorithm works is that if a post is deemed inappropriate by a viewer, they have the option to report it. Once a post is reported on Instagram, it is reviewed by its computer algorithm. The computer scans the post for any inappropriate material. If it deems it not inappropriate, it stays where it is. The user who reported it gets a message saying, "Thank you for your feedback, but we're not going to take down the video." It can also be deemed inappropriate, to which it will be passed on to a human to review it, and the human will decide whether it just gets marked as sensitive content or if it's deleted. The person's account might also get banned if they scan the account and find many instances of posting inappropriate content. Now, the problem with the computer algorithm is that it's very easy to fool, and it is very easy to get past it by putting lines over the videos or photos, blurring the faces, distorting any audio, and many other ways. It is very easy to trick the computer into thinking your post is appropriate. Another more prevalent problem with Instagram's algorithm is that it has a very black and white interpretation of Instagram's community guidelines. And if something is not explicitly laid out to be against the guidelines, it will most likely either mark it as sensitive content or just leave the content be. This is an issue because things like murder and animal abuse are not explicitly laid out in Instagram's community guidelines, and therefore, if the audio is distorted or if the post is messed with at all, or if it's not, and it's just these things that aren't explicitly said to be against the guidelines, the algorithm is likely going to let it slide. One of the huge examples of the computer algorithm not being the best way to moderate Instagram is the story of @TummyandGummy on Instagram and their fight against the Instagram algorithm over animal abuse. Tummy and Gummy is an account dedicated to two cats named Toby, who has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which means he has very sensitive skin and he has a ton of extra layers of skin, and Quentin, who had just passed away from cancer and is also toothless, hence Gummy. Tummy and Gummy is a very positive community to share pictures of cats with special needs and share the lives of their two cats with special needs. It's overall very just a positive place. In May of 2020, Tummy and Gummy was followed by an account by the name of @CatAbuseLol on Instagram, which posted videos of cat fighting, cat kicking, people hitting cats, people throwing cats, and all around just a ton of animal abuse that should not be allowed on Instagram. They obviously reported the account, and Instagram's algorithm deemed it appropriate because it was not strictly against community guidelines. This shows that black and white interpretation that we were talking about before is really harmful because Instagram allows animal abuse and this type of content to remain on their platform even though it is illegal and terrible for kids to be seeing. The mother of the two cats that runs Tummy and Gummy's page is named Georgiana Price, and she started a petition against Instagram for them to reform their algorithm and make animal abuse against community guidelines. She is quoted to say, "Videos and pictures of animal abuse have no place in the world outside of a courtroom as evidence. I am outraged and sickened that Instagram views this as appropriate content and allows accounts like these to continue posting such aberrant media. How can Instagram set out their rules under community guidelines and then allow this to continue?" However, with all this being said, the Instagram staff is not the issue. The issue is the computer program. Because the computer program, like I said before, runs on that very black and white basis of what's against the guidelines and what's not. Animal abuse isn't explicitly against the guidelines, however, it very much still is, and it is not allowed on Instagram no matter which way you slice it. According to the Federal Animal Legal Defense Fund, in 2019, the federal government passed the PACT Act, aka Preventing Animal Cruelty and Torture Act, which outlawed the beating, suffocating, drowning, and all-around torturing and abusing of animals. It made animal abuse and cruelty a federal crime, prosecutable by the Supreme Court. This law is the reason why animal abuse is against Instagram's community guidelines, even though it's not explicitly stated. Instagram's community guidelines specifically say to post only your own photos and videos and always follow the law. This means any sort of illegal activity is not allowed on the platform. It also further outlines that causing harm to endangered species, making arrangements to illegally buy, sell, or poach animals is strictly against the guidelines, but any form of animal abuse does fall under violating the law and is still illegal and not allowed on the platform. However, since the computer algorithm has that black and white interpretation of the community guidelines, it cannot draw that conclusion because it requires an actual human mind and not just the computer programming. Therefore, the computer algorithm does not have the capability to strike down animal abuse videos, and therefore it will allow them to continue to be posted to Instagram. So as you can see, Instagram's computer algorithm is very flawed and needs to be adjusted. And here's how I propose we do that. The first step is to implement different not safe for work communities and not safe for work tags that can be independently monitored by admins of said community, just like how we see on social media like Reddit and Discord. This way, Instagram community guidelines can be looser on posts that are within the community, and they can focus on reporting posts that are posted outside of the communities. The second step in this process is to expand the number of people that are on Instagram's report staff, which would create more jobs and help the economy, and also mean there are more people to watch the hours of footage and go through the hours of posts that are reported every day. It's a big job, and they only have a limited amount of people to do it. So creating more jobs in the field means more chances for content to be reviewed by a human and not by a computer. Furthermore, any content that is deemed to be inappropriate by the reporter should be reviewed by a human. Computers are good for things like spam, but really that black and white interpretation of the community guidelines is not good for removing inappropriate content. Therefore, if a piece of content is deemed inappropriate by the person who reports it, then it should immediately be reviewed by a human and not by a computer. Finally, the size of the Instagram account, the numbers of followers, and the number of posts per day should not be factors in whether or not the report gets reviewed by a human. Bigger accounts tend to be reviewed more by people because they have a bigger audience and they have a bigger chance of kids being able to see the content, which is the main point of why content is removed off of Instagram. However, the accounts that are more likely to be posting inappropriate content are actually the smaller accounts because their accounts keep getting taken down and they need to rebuild from scratch. So as you can all see, Instagram definitely needs to step up their game when it comes to moderation and not allow things like animal abuse to be suitable content for their platform. And if any of you guys are interested in joining the fight against Instagram's algorithm and reforming Instagram to be a better community with more positive content, I will provide a link to Tummy and Gummy's petition to make animal abuse in all forms against Instagram's community guidelines. Other than that, that's all I've got. Hopefully we can see these issues changed and reformed upon in the future.